myself. I am Ananyo Mitra. I am Assistant Professor and Assistant Dean Research at IFIM Law School. And I have completed my BBA LLB from KIIT University, Bhubaneswar. After that, I decided to do my master's. So I went to London and I did my master's from Queen Mary University of London. So after that, I wanted to research on law. So you can say basically a researcher. So I came back, started working in Delhi. After that, I thought that why not teach? So, and because teaching would, give me the pleasure of combining the two things that I love, research and interacting with students. So I decided to take up the job at IFIM Law School, and here I am speaking to you about the importance of reading and writing for lawyers or law students. Now, at the very beginning, I would like to tell you that I don't know how many of you enjoy reading, or you guys read at your own pleasure or during your leisure time. So if the answer is yes, then I think the first battle has already been won. Those of you who kind of like me enjoy only a very specific things to read, or you might not be that much inclined towards reading. You don't pick up a book every day before, say, going off to bed. So for you guys, I would definitely say that the fact that you have decided that I want to pursue law and I want to become a lawyer, you have already signed up for reading through, you can say all your entire life will be dedicated towards reading. Okay. Law in itself is a very interdisciplinary subject. You cannot just read law in silos. What I want to say is law, you can say, is a mixture of history, of sociology, of what is going on around us, psychology. So a well-rounded lawyer must know all other disciplines. Law, you can say, is a very all-encompassing subject. So a very good lawyer needs to be aware of a few extra things, not just restricting yourself into law books. Obviously, law books and statutes, acts, obviously these things you have to read. But not only that, you also need to be aware of what is going on around us. I always maintain, and I always say this to my students, that lawyers are the change makers of the society. Now, how can you be a change maker if you're not aware of what is going on around us? And how can you be aware of what is going on around us? It is by reading. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be very a very voracious reader. You have to go on continuously and read. I, for one, understand that it is given our busy schedule, we have classes throughout, we have so much work in our personal and professional life. It might be a little difficult for you to maintain the habit of reading, but this is something that you have to do. If not 1 hour a day, at least try and devote 30 minutes of your time towards reading something that you feel like reading. It's not like, a professor has asked me to read this article, I am only going to read this article. No, obviously you have to do that, but because that is for your class. But apart from that, maybe develop this habit of reading newspapers and maybe the parts where you are interested in the newspaper. And I'm not just talking about going to the back and reading the sports news. Obviously those are important as well, but say for example you are interested in what is happening in the country uh, financially. The budget is out, so what kind of repercussions will the budget have on, say, middle class people? So as a lawyer, if you want to reflect on these kind of things, you have to read. Okay. Now, I would like to tell you a very nice thing which I myself got to uh, know from a professor of mine. So what he said was, law is all about communication. Okay. And not just oral communication, it is also about written communication. And for lawyers and for people who are studying law, we can say that the pen is mightier than the sword. So what we feel, what the kind of change we want to bring into the society, we can do that in through our writing. Okay. And that is the reason why writing will uh, occupy, you can say, the same importance as reading. So coming back to what my professor said, he said that great readers become great writers, and great writers become great communicators. And by great communicators, I mean written communication. And great communicators become great persuaders. And what is that one thing that is very important as a lawyer? Persuasion skills. So as a lawyer, you need to persuade people. And that can happen if you start reading. Okay. Now, I, I think you have heard about this term or this quote that knowledge is power. Okay. This quote holds its value even till date, even though we'll have Google, we'll have Chat GPT, we'll have AI, whatever it might be. The fact that knowledge is power will hold true throughout, like it is going to be there forever. So how to gain that knowledge? We can gain that knowledge definitely by reading books, by reading articles, but I really want to draw your focus onto the fact that when we talk about being a lawyer, lawyers are supposed to be aware of what is going on around them. Now, say, for example, you have gone for your internship and the partner of the law firm is asking you, so have you read Vivek Sood's new book, Chaff and Grain? So it's a very random thing to ask, but people who have done some internships, they know that, this is how partners of law firms, they usually, test these interns. Now, I'm not saying that, you have to be well read about all the new things that are coming up, or you have to know all the law books, but you need to start this practice of reading something every day. Now, when I'm talking about writing as a very important tool for a lawyer, now, how to develop this skill of writing? Now, obviously, writing comes with practice, and writing cannot be complete without reading. Okay, so we write because we want to solve some sort of problem in the society. Say, for example, as lawyers, as I very at the very beginning of my uh, talk, I stated that I consider lawyers to be the change makers of the society. So if the change makers of the society, they are not aware of what needs to be fixed, then what are you supposed to change? So as lawyers, the first step is reading. Now, once you read, so the question that I always, come across and say is, what to read or where should I go and read? We all have libraries in our law schools. Utilize the library. We all have access to internet. So not only I'm going to tell you to refrain from using ChatGPT, but I'm also going to say that there are obviously some positives of technology, which enables us to read anything at any given point of time. So every day, so I travel for 35 minutes to reach IFIM Law School from my home. So every day I utilize that time reading interesting news on my phone. Sometimes those news appear not only on Google, but also on Instagram, also on Facebook. So utilizing social media platform to your advantage, that is also a very smart thing that you guys can do. And to be honest, the kind of resource and the kind of knowledge that you get online, that is really an amazing thing. Obviously, we have to have the common sense and have the prudence to differentiate what is fake news and what is to be considered worthwhile. But if you can make that differentiation, then you can definitely use these platforms and these social media sites to your advantage and get a lot of information, very recent and up-to-date information from there. Now, coming to, you can say, the writing part of my talk is, now once you are aware of what is going on around us, and obviously that can come through reading, you have to make sure that you are voicing your opinion. The fact that you guys are aspiring law students or you have just graduated, you should all have this thing that, I want to voice my own opinion. Lawyers are supposed to be good at debating. Agreeing with people is not something that we are born to do. We like to disagree with people. We like to put our point across in any kind of atmosphere, in any room that we walk in. That is the mark of a lawyer. And obviously, if you are saying something, you should have that potential to back up your arguments. And how to do that? Obviously, and I'm sorry for using this term n number of times, but that will come by reading. So the more knowledgeable you are, the more refined your arguments will be. And the second is, you can voice your opinions, your thoughts, and how to make sure that other people also get to know about that. That is through writing. You're writing for a newspaper, you're writing for a law review to get your article published somewhere. So obviously, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritties and the aspects of research in this very brief talk that we are having, but just to highlight the fact that we don't. And another thing, I'm not just talking about you getting writing assignments in your class by your professors. Okay. So obviously those things are a part of your curriculum and you have to do that. But apart from that, the fact that you guys are opinionated people and you want to make sure that your opinions reach a lot of people and you make your point known to people, you have to make sure that you are writing and that writing is backed by some very solid arguments. So we write because we want to solve some problem, right? Now, if you're not reading, then how will you get to know that problem? So you read, you know the problem, and then you start building your opinion about that problem. So if you're see, as a lawyer, we and or as a law student, what we usually do is, when we have identified a problem, we we also try to understand what is the situation like in, say, other similar countries having the same kind of problem. What are they doing right, and what can we learn from them? So again, everything is connected with reading. Okay, so whether are you getting to know about, so how are you getting to know about what is happening in other countries? Through reading. So the point that I'm trying to make is, reading and writing for a lawyer is probably the most important thing. Okay, if you are not well aware about what you read, if you're not confident enough to put that in words, you will not be a very confident speaker. That is the basic fundamental truth about things. Now, let me give you one example. So for aspiring law students, you will be participating in moot court competitions. Okay. And also for people who are law students right now, probably you have already done that. Now, as a law student, participating in a moot court competition, which requires you to not only present your arguments and your case in front of judges, the thing that you're presenting or speaking, that also needs to be a very well researched thing that you're presenting in front of the court. Now, if your research is not good enough, and this holds true not only for moot courts, but also for the real life, what will happen after you graduate? Some of you will be practicing in courts. Some of you will be working in law firms. Some of you will be going into further studies and research. In any area that you go, whatever you choose to decide, whatever you decide to do, reading and writing is something that you can never, ignore. So even if you're arguing a matter in front of the court, you need to tailor your arguments accordingly, and obviously it needs to be a very well researched argument. So writing, a few more things I can tell you, that when you're writing an article, okay, when you're writing an article for a law review, obviously you need to make sure that it is a very well researched article. You need to make sure that your English is very good, okay, because your article will be read by not, you can say, layman who does not have any idea about law. If your article is getting published in a law review, lawyers, law students, even judges, they will be reading your article. Now, how to tailor your writing to suit the audience, that is another skill that you need to know, and that is another skill that you will be picking up during your law school. So say, for example, if I'm writing something for a blog, okay, now it might happen that the blog is in circulation not only to law students and lawyers, but also to other third persons, okay, or others who does not have a legal background. So therefore, if you're writing for something like that, your writing and your way of writing should be tailored so that even the common people, they get to understand what you're writing and whether you're being able to communicate the same what you were thinking through your writing. So having said that, I I can summarize whatever I just mentioned by saying that reading is probably the most important thing. You cannot even imagine writing anything without, reading. Okay. So I can give you my example. So if I want to write something, say a very small 1,000 word or 1,500 word article, I at least read 100 to 200 pages. Another thing why I am focusing a lot on the reading part, because throughout your law school, and I'm sure a lot of you are experiencing, you'll be exposed to so many different types of subjects, and law is not a very easy thing, and it is not supposed to be a very easy thing because of the kind of responsibility lawyers have towards the society. So reading at a very good speed is something that you need to pick up, and that is going to happen over time. I can give my example. So the first time I really understood how fast I need to read was, I believe, in my fourth year. So it is usually what happens is in your fourth year, you realize that, it's time to be very serious. I'm not saying that, I was not serious before that, but from my fourth year, when I decided that no, international law is something that that I'm specializing in, and that is something that I would want to do my master's in, I started reading. So it is also going to happen in your life as well. Sometime or the other, some subject that is going to click so well that you'll decide that let me uh, start reading about this, and after that there will not be any stopping. Okay, you will not be able to stop yourself. So uh, apart from that, uh, about writing, obviously it is interlinked with reading. If you're not reading properly, you will not be able to write. But have the habit of writing, because if you're seeing something that is going on around us, and if you want to write something on that, don't get scared. Don't think that, what if no one likes it? What if I manage to make others angry by what I'm writing? Or if you're thinking that what if no one publishes my write-up? So keep all these things out of your head. Start reading, start writing, and I really wish all of you a very, all the best for your upcoming years as a law student. And also, I wish you the best for your law profession. Now, if you have any questions with regards to what I just said, you can type it out in the chat box. If not, then I'll just give some time. If you have any questions, you can let me know through chat, because I believe that what I wanted to communicate has been communicated. So if you don't have any questions, I would assume that you are going back today with some value, and you will start reading and eventually writing, because these are the two very important skills of a lawyer. And these are, you can say, the primary skills that you need to inculcate over time, because this is like learning to, say, play the guitar or playing a piano. So once you get into the habit of it, you have no idea what amount of joy you're going to derive out of it. So with that, I come to an end today with regards to this knowledge series, and hope to see you guys again in these kind of similar webinars. I think we can, end the session here today. Thank you so much, and very good evening to everyone. Thank you.